You must be here to learn the craft, yes? Your alliance covers my considerable fees, allowing me to impart my knowledge at no cost to you. If you prove yourself, I'll certify you as competent. Crafting writs are daily requests for crafted goods. You must be a certified crafter to fulfill. I'm authorized to train and certify provisioners, alchemists, and enchanters. If this interests you, certainly, please specify. Food and drink, anything that warms the belly, reinvigorating body and mind. Potions of all kinds, the subtle art of mixing glyphs to empower weapons, armor, and I suppose I should mention Milleneth. She certifies blacksmiths.
May I help you?
I can train and certify you as a blacksmith, a clothier, or a woodworker. Which would you like to start with first? Of course. What do you want to know? Anything with metal in it, and I don't mean horseshoes and calipers. The crafting writs are for weapons and heavy bows, shields, and magical staves. Staffs, cloth, and leather goods. The crafting writs want pieces of light cloth on. Excellent! We can get started whenever. Let me know if you have some time. I can train and certify you in something else. Prove you know your way around a forge and I'll certify you. But I want you to craft a simple iron dagger. First you'll mine some iron ore, then refine the ore into iron ingots. You'll use... Yes, you have to prove you know your way around a blacksmithing station. There's a place outside of town which should still have some iron ore veins. Head there and mine it for yourself.
Only the finest merchandise.
Time passes slowly.
You're back. I take it you found an... Refining ore into ingots is a good way to build your muscles. Well, in one arm. Bring the iron ore to a blacksmithing station. If you have enough, you can refine them into... Look near rock formations, outcroppings, or hills. Sometimes you'll see it by streams or beaches where the water has exposed it to the elements. The same goes for most other... If you're in a guild, check the guild stores. They often have raw material. Bring some iron ore to a blacksmithing station. You can refine it there to get iron ingots. Refining ore into ingots is a good way to build your muscles. Well, in one arm. Best to switch every now and then. Otherwise, you'll be lopsided. Go to the blacksmithing station and craft an iron dagger. Nothing fancy. You shouldn't need more than 2 iron ingots. Oh, and you'll need a style material. Every race has a traditional material they work into their weapons and armor. For example, the Imperial style material is nickel. I should know. Every day in the Legion camps, I worked a pile of it. The Nord style material is corundum. Let's start with that. You can learn how to craft with another race's style material by studying racial motif books. They're quite rare.
My forge may...
You look a bit lost.
craft an iron dagger, you'll need some... The trick is the style material, but I'm sure you know that. Next is deconstruction. You learn a lot when you break something into parts, even more so when it's someone else's work. Go deconstruct your dagger, or anything else really, as long as you do it at a blacksmithing station. You'll regain some components, of course, but the real trick is to deconstruct another crafter's work. You can learn far more by disassembling someone else's material than... It's a fancy way to say take something apart. The term originally came from Altmer poetry critiques. High elves consider their physical crafts to be forms of poetry, so it... You certainly know your way around a forge. You're a blacksmith, and let none tell you otherwise. Of course. I'll get you certified right away so you can fulfill blacksmith crafting writs immediately. Let me know if you have some time. I can train and certify you in something else. A good woodworker sees the final product before cutting the first block of wood. But I can't teach two crafts at once. If you commit yourself to the training, I'll certify you. I want to know if you can craft a maple bow. First, go harvest some rough maple. You'll refine it into sanded maple at a woodworking station. Last, absolutely. Bows are challenging to craft. Show me you're up to the challenge and I'll happily certify you. But first, go get... There's a place nearby which should have what you need. Collect an armload and return here. If there's not enough... Look for rough maple in forested areas. Sometimes you'll see logs washed up. You should avoid cutting a rough maple log with a wasp nest inside. It's rather unpleasant. So, bring the rough maple to a woodworking station. As long as you have enough, you can refine it into sanded maple. Return to me when you've done that.
I could give you a song in...
Bring some rough maple to a woodworking station and refine it into sand. I prefer to work with maple. It's reliable, plentiful, rarely full of wasps. Craft a maple bow at a woodworking station. You'll need sanded maple, also a style material. Scavenge them yourself or buy a style material from a carpenter. Craft a maple bow. Bring some sanded maple to a woodworking station as well as a style material. A good bow will get you far in life. Making good bows will get you farther. Excellent! Now we can talk about deconstruction. You grow as a woodworker when you disassemble your own creations, even more so with someone else's work. Head to a woodworking station and deconstruct. I've seen everything I need to see. You're a fine woodworker with a steady hand. Certainly. You're more than qualified to fulfill woodworking crafting writs. There's only one more certification I can provide. If you need training, I have time. If you convince me you know how to use a needle and thread, I'll certify you. However, you must commit. I can't certify two things. Show me you can craft a pair of homespun gloves. First, you'll collect some raw jute, then return here and refine it. Finally, you'll use refined jute to make... Of course. It was the first trade I studied. I'm happy to certify anyone familiar with a clothing. I spotted some raw jute growing on the outskirts of town. You might as well harvest it yourself. Should that not be enough, you'll have to...
to 3.
Search grassy areas in the wilderness for raw jute. Raw jute is plentiful if you know where to look. Just don't chew on it. It can really do a number on your... Well, just don't. Take the raw jute to a clothing station. If you have enough, you can easily refine it.
I could give you a song. Oh, don't mind the big...
Before you make the gloves, you need to bring raw jute to a clothing station and... When I'm refining jute, I sing to help pass the time. Not too loud. I don't want to disturb the other clothiers. Head to the clothing station and craft a pair of homespun gloves. You shouldn't need much refined jute. Don't you mean half-hide braces? It's a similar process. Skin animals for leather scraps. Craft a pair of homespun gloves. You'll need refined jute and a style material. You know, I'm a master clothier, yet I still own a pair of homespun gloves. They keep my hands warm at night. Sometimes simple is better. Wonderful! Now for deconstruction. There's much to learn from breaking down your own... You're more than capable with needle and thread. I'll be proud to call you already done. You'll now be able to fulfill clothier crafting writs. and I look forward to seeing more of your work.
I have nothing left to teach. Have you spoken with Danel Teleno? He can certify you in enchanting, alchemy, and provisioning. Last I heard, he was in the local mint.
Of course. What do you want to know? I can explain how to craft stronger items with more materials, tell you about the improvement of existing items, or discuss research and traits. You can easily create more powerful weapons, armor, and shields. Simply increase the amount of refined material during an item's creation. Of course, each material has... You can greatly improve weapons, armor, and shields with certain rare materials. These materials are unique to each craft. Bring any tempers you find to a blacksmithing station. You can improve the quality of forged weapons or heavy armor. A word of warning, unless you have enough tempers, you can lose your item while improving it. Be sure some weapons, armor, and shields possess rare traits that distinguish them from others. Every kind of item has its own unique set of traits. Once you bring any item with a trait to the appropriate crafting station and research it. You'll lose the item in the process, but you'll learn the trait. The more traits you already know for an item, the longer new traits take to research. Plan accordingly. You can greatly improve weapons, armor, and shields with certain rare materials. These materials are unique to each craft. If you bring tannins to a clothing station, you can improve the quality of light or medium armor. Be sure you bring enough tannins, or you could lose your item instead of improving it. You can easily create more powerful weapons, armor, and shields. Simply increase the amount of refined material. You can greatly improve weapons, armor, and shields with certain rare... You'll want to bring resins to a woodworking station and use them to improve the quality of a bow, staff, or shield. But without... Of course. What do you want to... Fair question. I was an apprentice clothier in the Imperial City, but my old fusspot of a master had no plan. Armies need all kinds of weapons and armor. You learn to pick up a few skills along the way. Also, enemies who capture the baggage train are...
There is much more I can teach you. What else do you hope to learn from me? A provisioner condenses the essence of ingredients into food or drink. A true artist, provisioning is a rewarding yet grueling profession. Gruel, you see. I am capable of levity. Yes, I hope you don't think it beneath you. As I keep an old rival's recipe nearby. Go, find him. Provisioners are quite secretive, but all is fair in brews and stews. Should coin be of no issue to you, guilds often...
Welcome.
Roast pig is an easy recipe to learn, but difficult. Provisioners are only as good as their ingredients. The fewer the better. Simplicity of pairing is key. Now, go find ingredients for roast pig. Barrels, sacks of grain, kitchens, of course. It's food, it's simply around. Once you return with the ingredients, we'll determine what... I've always believed the hunt for ingredients is its own reward. Now, the moment of truth. Go to a cooking pot. Ingredients? One is solid, quality food and drink. Bring me your culinary... Interesting scent. Do I detect a hint of Wamasu? No. Your command of the crafts is impressive, but not yet in totality. Enchanters harness the possibility of runes, transforming them into the certainty of glyphs. I'll teach you. Potency, essence, and aspect. All beneath the stars bear these component concepts. When combined... Absolutely, for such is the essence of enchanting. Runes of potency, essence, and aspect are the fundamental components of glyphs. Collect one of each variety before... I know of a cache outside this town. It is a rare exception for runes. There are many places one can find runes, but the ancient ruins of Tamriel...
Step up. Have a look.
Once you recover 3 runes, one each of you likely notice their distinctive flares of light. We begin at the enchanting table. There you will combine a rune. Each glyph is best suited for weapons, armor, or jewels. Indeed you can. Bring the glyph to any enchanting station. There you can extract it to recover.
Jora Oko Ta.
Craft a glyph using a rune of potency, essence, and aspect. Return when you have fought. You should attach it to an item so you can see the enchantment's effects. You are now... Your command of the crafts is impressive, but not yet in totality. I am still capable of instructing you. Alchemists are masters of the elixir. They trap magic in a bottle for later use. As with master chefs, every alchemist must assemble the right components before crafting a special concoction. Are you so capable? We shall see. Yes, every alchemical mixture requires a solvent, a pure liquid base. There's a quiet area nearby with mountain flowers and columbine. A fresh source in the wilderness. You'll find herbs, flowers, and mushrooms all around. These make the best reagents.
Fine goods at fair prices.
look a bit lost.
Locate a solvent and some reagents so you may craft them. An apprentice of mine tried to use seawater as a solvent. I had him drink the results. He agreed it was a terrible idea after he finished retching. Good. Now go to an alchemy station. Use a solvent and 2 differing reagents to craft a potion. Open your knapsack and place them in your mouth. The first time you consume a reagent, you'll learn its potions have far too many benefits to recount. Expect them to have strong effects for short periods. Blend the solvent's purity with the reagent's traits. Return to me when you've crafted a potion. Your potions have a slight fizz to them, but your mastery of 3 crafts is its own reward. Certainly. Please specify. Decades ago, before all the trouble, I was a renowned chef in Cyrodiil. I had engaged an exclusive contract to provide the Mages Guild in their travels, providing food and drink. Broiling fish, forging glyphs, or mixing potions. It's all recipe.
Only the finest wares here. Buy and sell, here and now.
The Red Mountain? I could give you a song and dance.
If the volcano gets any worse.
look a bit lost.